So why are we here today? Why are we debating a bill that addresses a non-existent problem while hardworking American families are struggling with rising costs and economic insecurity? Because Republicans in Congress, they don't have real solutions. Rather than addressing the issues that matter, like lowering grocery costs and helping families get ahead, they are prioritizing a bill that disenfranchises millions of American women. Roughly 69 million women, about 25% of eligible voters in our country, have IDs that do not match their birth certificates, usually because they changed their name once they got married. Under this bill, if they don't have a passport, and half of Americans don't, they wouldn't be able to register to vote. Think about that. Tens of millions of women, the backbone of our families and our communities, stripped of their right to vote simply because they got married. Imagine a woman who has voted in every election since she turned 18, who pays her taxes, who contributes to her community. One day she learns that because her name changed when she got married, she is suddenly unable to register to vote in her state. No amount of documentation, no social security card, no marriage license, no previous voter registration will satisfy the requirements of this bill unless she possesses an updated passport or a birth certificate that matches her current name. This isn't just bureaucratic nonsense. It is an outrageous attack on the rights of women across our country. And the worst part, Madam Speaker, is that Republicans have known that this was an issue with this bill for years, and they've done nothing to fix it. They either don't care that millions of American women will be stripped of their right to vote, or that has been their goal all along.
Remember how I told you we were all going to pay for the stupid decisions that the country made? Well, now, women's rights are being restricted, and they don't even realize it. Women that support Trump are not going to be able to vote now if the SAFE Act is passed. The SAFE Act actually states that your birth certificate has to have the same last name as your ID. And when we're in a country in which 81% of women take the name of their husband, and 14% of women hyphen their last name with the husband's last name, that right there is 95% of women who wouldn't be able to vote. And if you don't believe me, look it up. This is the SAFE Act. So just like I told you before, first, we ignored the Fourth Amendment, the constitutional rights of immigrants, because they're immigrants, right? Now they're going after women's rights, because just like Project 2025 said, one vote per family. And that's what J.D. Vance said he wanted. One vote per family. So we're inching closer and closer to that goal. But I guess this is what we wanted, right? And the white women that voted for Trump, I hope you don't get to miss your vote.
If you haven't noticed, they are strategically making it so as few people vote as possible, so they have total authoritarian control. The SAVES Act would essentially mean that married women whose last name does not match their birth certificate could not vote if they don't have a passport. That is a quarter of the U.S. voting population. A quarter. And I just think of all the women in abusive relationships, all the women who are living with a man who wants them to vote a certain way, who, might be denied a passport, who might not be able to vote, all the women who don't have the money to afford to be able to vote, all the women who are too busy working and taking care of kids and doing all of the labor our society relies on to be able to get the things they need to vote. This is voter suppression. It is so fucking obvious this is voter suppression. It's just ridiculous that women still have to fight for the right to vote in 2025. And they are doing this on purpose. It is part of Project 2025. They do not want women to have a voice. They do not want women being able to have any sort of contribution to the political landscape. They want us at home, they want us under a man's control, and they want to make sure that only that man's voice is heard. Only the land-owning males can vote. In 2025.
I mean, a lot is happening in 2025. So, this bill was introduced as a way to, in quotes, protect elections by requiring strict proof of citizenship before anyone can register to vote. Hey, beautiful people, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by. So, all credit goes to the creators in these videos. So, on the surface, this sounds fair, okay? Because after all, only citizens are allowed to vote in federal elections. But when you dig deeper, you begin to see that, okay, this law can create barriers and not safeguard it. Because one of the requirements in the bill is that a person's name and that on their birth certificate must match. It must match with their government issued ID. And now let's think about who that affects the most, because women are the only ones that are likely to change their last names, either because of marriage or what have you. Some women use their, cultural names or names that they have been known over time. And if your documents don't line up perfectly, it could be flagged, it could be denied registration, or you can be forced to go through a long bureaucratic process just to prove that you are an American citizen with a right to vote. And the lawmakers are saying, oh, this bill is about, in quotes, election integrity. But the truth is that it can, prevent women from voting, especially those whose paperwork don't align perfectly. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep watching this video.
They are coming after women's suffrage, women's right to vote. You heard me. There is a bill that has already passed the House of Representatives called the SAVE Act that within it restricts married women's ability to vote. How is that possible? Well, as part of the law, it requires that the name on your voter ID that you show when you go to the polls match that on your birth certificate. Now, when women get married in this country, the majority of them change their last name to that of their husbands. Their ID no longer matches what's on their birth certificate, their maiden name. Under this law, they would no longer be allowed to vote. Only their husband would be allowed to vote. There is nothing in the law currently that has any provision for name changes for marriage. And this honestly is straight out of Project 2025, where they want the man or the head of the household to have the one vote for the entire family. So this is the first step in attacking a woman's right to vote. As for taking away all of our voting rights, that can only be done via a constitutional amendment. The 19th Amendment gave us the right to vote, and the only way to permanently undo that would be another constitutional amendment. But what Congress is trying to do is make it as difficult as possible for as many women as possible to vote. So call your representatives, and importantly, call your senators, because it has already passed the House. You need to call your senators and say, hey, we do not support this. You cannot restrict a woman's right to vote just because she changed her name when she got married.
I'm devastated to be saying these next words, but American women might lose their right to vote and not even know it very soon. This is to do with the SAVE Act, which I'm going to explain right now. So in 2024, the SAVE Act was introduced into the House of Representatives. The Republicans had the House of Representatives by majority, so it passed because Democrats did not have the majority in the House of Representatives. When the bill went to the Senate, the Democrats had the Senate, so it didn't get passed in the Senate. This time around, the bill got reintroduced to the Senate, and now the Senate is owned by the Republican majority. If it passes in the Senate, then women who changed their last names legally after they got married will no longer have the right to vote, or it will become very, very difficult for them to prove they are eligible for the right to vote. And this is a brilliant legal loophole to use taking husbands' last names, what it was originally used for under coverture, and weaponizing it against women once again, which was its original purpose. It is being used for its original purpose again. And if this bill passes in the Senate, which is where it is right now, there's not going to be any news headlines about it. It's not going to be widely known until voting rolls around again. Because if the last name on your voter's registration does not match the last name on your birth certificate because you legally changed it when you got married, then they can turn you away. So please boost this so as many people in America see this as possible.
So the reason why women are angry is that they feel that, okay, this right prevents them from being able to vote. Because looking at it, how many women retain their maiden name before, or I mean after marriage? How many? Because if this bill becomes law, imagine how many women will be turned away simply because the name on their ID doesn't match the one on the birth certificate. A woman got married, changed her last name. A woman even that got divorced, but kept her husband's name, or a woman whose husband has died but still kept the name. Okay, so a woman who uses a middle name in everyday life but has a different legal name, the list goes on and on and on and on, because suddenly this act of voting will become an obstacle course. And looking at it, guys, it looks like this is not just about citizenship. It's about those whose voices are being quietly silenced, because women fought for this right to vote long time ago, over a century ago, and yet in 2025 we are facing a law that can just take that away, right? It might not say directly that, oh yeah, women cannot vote, but guys, the effects can still be the same. Okay, it just quietly spells silencing them at the ballot box, and that's why many women are angry. Many creators, many citizens are saying that this SAFE Act is a disguised attack on women's voting rights. Guys, what do you think about this? In the comment section, do you agree or do you disagree? I need to know your thoughts. If you have found value in this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll definitely see you in my next video. Please stay safe. Mental health is important. Ciao.